Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bahri from group the Nasi Regime. So today I'm reviewing about the topic from the French Revolution. So the topic is about the traditional role of women in the French during pre-French Revolution and French Revolution. So first of all, during pre-French revolutions, women had no voting right. They were ineligible to vote or hold an elected position. So they had to rely on people to decide what was best for them in government as passive residents. So these categories were defined or mentioned by men. It means men dominated women. Female have been encouraged or supported to dedicate themselves to their spouses. The education of women mostly consisted of learning to be a wife or descends to be the housewife, for example. Thus, women were not allowed to engage in political arena or in political participation because the presence restricted the increase in potential people. Right. Then they considered women to be biological and therefore socially different from men, destined to play domestic and not public role in the family. Traditionally, political virtue became an attribute synonymous with men. Still, many women did not embrace the notion that they are powerless to gain political power, even in the position of serf and activists. Instead, they regarded themselves as upright people with a strong potential for the public service. In particular, the voices of such women can shed light on the nature of revolutionary politics. Okay, persons active in the revolutionary politics were often bound by their interests. The need for a career of liberation in revolutionary politics and therefore the obligation to current language and ethologies, for example. Okay, let's continue with the women in the French Revolution, right, were highly active in terms of participation in political sphere, even though they face a few hindrances along the way. They are often told to have just remained in the household arena according to their traditional role. Society at large and French society precisely dictated that women were to leave the public sphere and it's affair to men. But just like all marginalized voices during that era, they gained attention and were amplified during the revolution, although feel like women receive different responses than others. Okay, as a man at that time, women played their roles and paid their effort to the revolution case in the various way. French in 18th century highly influenced by philosophy of the Enlightenment, such as the John Locke, for example. Belief of enlightenment where liberty is one of them, right? the revolution also pushed for an egalitarian social order, and women are taking the advantages of this principle to put themselves in better place in society. So during the start of the revolution, there was a shortage food, especially bread. Okay, so especially bread, which was the main diet for the commoners and people in the third estate. Even if there were a presence of bread, the price was so highly to be afforded by them. The event sparked the famous and significant event during in the French Revolution, Women's March on Versailles on the morning of 5th of October 1787. A group of women was so furious about the bread issue that they started marching to Versailles, the residency of Louis, the King of France. The march began as a movement wanted for the bread issue to be resolved, but the case started to change following the spirit of the revolution. More women began join the march, arming and themselves with makeshift weapons. The march after was just the start for women fight for their right after their initial battle for more and lower price of bread. They started catching something bigger, equal right and citizenship. The movement was made because of the denied political right of the active citizenship, since women were considered second-class citizens. Okay, one main woman figure that arose at that time is the Pauline Leon, as the member of the Third Estate, and women farmers, she was denied her right, not just by the upper class, but the whole traditional society. Leon was a woman in the upheaval of the revolution who proposed in the petition in the National Assembly requesting for women to be permitted to bear arms. Okay, although many women supported the society's case, the leaders of France at that time, the Jacobins, did not welcome the presence of women's society well. The society was decreed illegal because of their aggressive behavior. And so all other women society, leader of women society, were also arrested and pushed and punished, including Leon herself. Okay, let's talk about the feminist writer, such a woman was Olympia de Gouges, a political activist who wrote the famous Declaration of the Right of Women and the Female Citizen. During that era in France, citizenship was not for all the people that live in France. It was very specific in the definition. A 25 years old male who paid the poll tax. Women, by that definition, are not the citizens of France and thus could not vote. Okay, so that's all for me. Okay, thank you.